Effie Zahos, Editor-at-Large of CanStar and Money Commentator. I've been talking money for a good 20 years or so. Now, I get asked a lot of questions about money, and superannuation is definitely up there on the list. It's important now more than ever to make the right money moves for your circumstances. So I'm going to walk you through what you should know about your super and the steps you could take to protect it. Okay, so first question, can I withdraw my super in tough times? And are there eligibility criteria for withdrawing super early? Also, are there any hidden fees to withdrawing my super early? Now, before we get started, it's worth noting here that super is a complex area and it may pay to obtain expert advice before you make any decision. Normally, you can only make one early withdrawal due to severe financial hardship in any 12-month period. And if you're granted access, you'll be able to withdraw between $1,000 and $10,000. To access this though, you need to show that you can't meet your living expenses and you've been receiving Commonwealth benefits for 26 weeks. The rules have temporarily changed in 2020. Some people will now be able to access up to $10,000 of their super balance before June 30, 2020, and then another $10,000 from July 1, 2020. To apply for this early release, you either need to be unemployed or you're eligible to receive, say, the job seeker payment, the youth allowance for job seekers, parenting payment, or you're made redundant, or your hours were reduced by 20% or more, or if you're a sole trader where your business was suspended or your income fell by 20%. Now, you'll find more details on this on the ATO's website, of course. You won't pay any tax on this money and it will not affect any Centrelink payments. We've put together a guide to accessing your super early, and you can find this in the link in the description of this video. Okay, so next question. Can I use my super withdrawal to pay off debt? Well, early release of super measure was designed to assist those financially impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Having said that though, the ATO has confirmed that if an individual meets the eligibility criteria for early release, there is no specific restrictions on what the money can be used for. So technically, if you were earning, say, $200,000 a year and your pay was reduced by 20%, you could qualify for the early release and you could use that money for whatever you wanted. Now, it may not be in the spirit of things, but you can. And the question you need to ask yourself here is, does it make financial sense to do so? So let me explain. Let's say you owed $20,000 on a credit card that was charging you 17% per annum interest. Now, assuming you only made the minimum repayments, then according to a government website, Money Smart, it could take you a massive 48 years to pay it off and cost you over $44,000 in interest. So early release of super may now start to look pretty good, but is it? So CanStar crunched the numbers to show what the cost of accessing $20,000 from your super at, say, age 40 could have on your retirement savings. And that number was $55,603. So the cost of your credit card may now start to be looking pretty cheap. Of course, there's nothing stopping you here from accessing your money to pay for your debt, then playing catch up on your super. Just like there's nothing stopping you from paying off your debt, not playing catch up with your super, and then racking up some new debt on your credit card. I guess the message here that I'm trying to give you is that to tread carefully and consider all your options. It's important to understand the impact of accessing your super early and what that's going to have on your nest egg. And do the sums and see which way may be better off. Or if in doubt, do get independent advice or contact a financial counsellor. Okay, next question. Can I access my super early to buy property? Well, remember that in order to qualify for early release in the first place, your income needs to have dropped or gone completely. And I'm guessing not too many lenders would find that attractive, which is another factor to consider. How can I access my super during the coronavirus? Well, to apply for early release under the coronavirus relief option, you need to go through the MyGov website. It will be the ATO's role to do security checks, that the ID is you're eligible, and to get your bank details. Now, this can take up to 4 business days. It would then send a link to your fund and your fund will then pay you from there. Of course, they do their security checks too, and this can take another 5 days. The first $10,000 is available up until June 30, 2020, and the second $10,000 is available from July 1, 2020 until September 24, 2020. Now, to ensure your application runs the smoothest it can, be sure to make sure your mobile number is up to date. Now, there are critical communications that are sent via text messages from both the ATO and your super fund, and you won't receive them if you don't have your current mobile number. Now, and that could actually put a halt to your application. Log into your super fund to ensure your current balance is sufficient to cover your application. That's also important. And then check your MyGov account to ensure that your bank details are correct to ensure the funds can be deposited in your bank account when processed. Now, when you apply for early release of super, you're required to declare that you meet the eligibility criteria. The ATO website says that those who apply for the scheme do not need to attach evidence to support their application. However, you should keep records and documents to confirm your eligibility, as the ATO may ask for this information. What could I lose if I withdraw my super early? Well, there are potentially 3 things that you could lose by taking your money out early. First up, you may have less money in retirement. Now, CanStar crunched the numbers here to show that withdrawing $20,000 from your super now could impact you later on. Let's say, for example, you're a 30-year-old who takes the full $20,000 allowed from your super. You'll see your balance at retirement fall by around $83,000. Now, there's a lot of assumptions here, and you can cut and slice numbers different ways, but you can learn more about the long-term effect of taking $20,000 out of your super fund in the link in the description of this video. Now, the second thing you may lose is taking money out of your super fund at the worst possible time, as markets have taken a hit, means you could lose your money that you probably would have clawed back over time. And finally, you could lose your life insurance. Withdrawing super early may affect a person's income protection insurance and life and total permanent disability insurance cover if they fully withdraw or have a balance below $6,000. Next question. If I have no choice but to withdraw my money from my super during a tough time, what can I do to build my balance up once I'm able to? Well, first things first is focus on what you can control. This won't cost you anything, but could boost your super. So have a look at what fees you're paying. So the Productivity Commission previously highlighted the impact fees can have on our retirement savings. Now, something small like a minor increase of, say, 0.5 percentage points can cost a typical full-time worker a staggering $100,000. As a rule of thumb, you should look for total fees of 1% or under for your super. Now, this will have a major impact on how much you end up in retirement, coronavirus or not. The next thing to check out is the asset class you're in. Review whether the risk level of your super is still right for you, and then have a look at performance. Check if your fund's keeping up with its peers, performance-wise that is. If not, then consider switching. Insurance is another one to look out. Do you have too much or too little insurance, and does it still suit your needs? A quick note on how to make up the withdrawal if you plan on taking out $10,000. Now, CanStar crunched the numbers of a 40-year-old accessing $10,000. It would cut their retirement savings at age 67, short by approximately $28,696. Now, if the same super fund member saw their financial situation, say, improve in 12 months' time and they wanted to make up that shortfall by making contributions to their super, CanStar's analysis says they'll only need to sacrifice about $88 per month until retirement. Okay, so to wrap up, can you access your super in tough times, particularly in 2020 with the impact of the coronavirus? You really do need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Are there any other options? Do you know the impact of accessing your super early? What would you do with this money? Does it make financial sense? And do you need an expert, some independent advice to help you make that decision? And I know that most of us do have the best money intentions, but when the unexpected happens, it can help to call in the experts.